Hi, hello everyone, this is Aegon of Astora, and welcome back to my blind playthrough of Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. This is episode number 11 being recorded on Sunday, November the 24th, 2024. I hope you're all having a fantastic day whenever it is you find yourself watching this. So, in the previous episode, we concluded by defeating Commander Gaius Baltar. You really need to stop doing that, because then I crack up every time, and there's nothing more awkward than someone who laughs at their own lame jokes, so I apologize. So yeah, we did that right at the end of a very long episode, so that's why we didn't explore the boss room or anything, but might as well do that now. Pick up scraps of runes in the process. So again, we're sort of getting closer to the Scadutree, but not really. Or in this instance, closer to whatever this structure is that, you know, like it doesn't look like it's large enough to actually have any meaningful utility, but perhaps I'm wrong about that. And, oh, there's a site of grace. Scaduview. So, yeah, you can see the Scadutree from here, so that makes sense. Seek north and then visions of precious item. So again, I might have annoyed some people, many people, all the people, by progressing to the end of the previous area and then opting, rather than proceeding to defeat the boss, the Church of the Bud, of coming here. Because that is where we were, but this is where we are. And the reason for that, as I outlined in the previous episode, is the fact that, you know, we spent quite a bit of time in that area, but something I didn't think about before we went there was the fact that Guidance of Grace is only leading in one direction, and that is here. So, you know, in the interest of ensuring that we are not advancing this... Oh, who are you? Oh, that's interesting. One of these friends that we encountered. Oh, she just buffed her. That's cool. One of these friends we encountered in the... What is it called? Consecrated Snowfield. That's what it was. Yes, Consecrated Snowfield. Go, Gaius's Greaves. So, yeah, I noticed that. That's very interesting, because I noticed when we were at the Roundtable Hold in the previous episode that I couldn't find Gaius's Greaves, and I was wondering, like, is that just me? Because of course you can't sort that equipment menu by order of acquisition, so I thought maybe I was just missing it, but I could not find it, and here it is. Black iron greaves made for Commander Gaius, a cruel joke, for he could not wear them. Riding atop the boar he called his other half, Gaius was in fact a warrior of albinoric extraction. So in other words, Gaius had a disability. Very interesting. So I spoke about Radon as though he were grafted onto his horse. And in the case of Commander Gaius Baltar, that's more or less what was happening, it seems. Okay. And of course, this was another albinoric friend. Why was this albinoric friend walking around with their greaves, though? I guess because he couldn't wear them, but why would they have them? Sharp Shot Talisman. What was the name of the albinoric shack? A talisman depicting an archer wielding a longbow boosts attack power of precision-aimed shots. The albinoric archers were in a class of their own, and their deadly long-range specialists struck fear into the hearts of men. Okie dokes, as usual, I'm not 100% sure what to make of all of this just yet. So I need a bit of time to process everything and think about it, but that's one upside to the fact that it takes so long to record each episode. Is the fact that, yeah, I do, if nothing else, while busy with other things and, you know, while my mind is sort of idly occupied with doing sort of mundane, everyday, day-to-day things, completing tasks related to, you know, being a parent and having to keep a house clean and in good working order, along with my wife, Anne of Astora. Yeah, it gives you time to sort of think of, ooh, what is this? It gives you time to sort of think about these things. So I assume there's going to be a teardrop or something in here. Scadutree Chalice. So this is where things sort of, oh yeah, this is where things sort of drip. Acid bone shard. Lots of Scadutree fragments. Wow, okay. We're ahead of the curve once again in terms of the Scadutree fragments. House. Yep, so these are all then fragments of the Scadutree just falling? Is that what that is supposed to be? I speculated about that earlier, but... And I wonder, is this thing supposed to be a brace for the Scadutree? Because as I mentioned, it doesn't seem to have any, like there's no, I mentioned utility, so it doesn't necessarily mean there's no utility to it, just because there's no interior space, but, you know, we humans often think about buildings as having, yeah, strict utility in the sense of, and I say we humans, and perhaps that's just me, that if there's a building, but there's no interior space, like what's the point? But obviously there can be many points to it, and one is that it could be a brace for the Scadutree, should the Scadutree sort of continue to twist and contort in a particular direction, and then this would serve as a brace to it, but I don't know if they were thinking that far ahead. Or if it's possible that it would twist in this direction, but in any case, that's, yeah. Not exactly what I was expecting to find, but I'm not sure what I was expecting to find, so I will certainly take the number of, we have 8 Scadutree fragments now, so we can probably upgrade our Scadutree level a couple more times, but again, I'll continue to, I guess, not do that until we're at a point where I'm just super frustrated with what we're dealing with. So very interesting, some of the details that you can see from this perspective, including some weird sort of shadows near the base of the Scadutree. I don't know if we'll ever actually get to go down there. I assume at some point we'll be near the roots based on the things we're seeing on the map, and perhaps we'll have to go to the Finger Ruins to reach that. We also have some Finger Ruins here that we've yet to reach. Though I'm not sure how exactly we're supposed to reach it, unless there's an additional exit from the Church District or the Shadowkeep that we missed. But, yeah, in the meantime, I think we're going to do an NPC roundup. So, as with during... Oh, Regret's looking pretty fancy with the light shining off his armor like that. Hello. So, in line with the approach we used during our blind playthrough of the base game, I'm going to cut now to whatever the next NPC interaction is, rather than just sort of warping from place to place and then having to edit that all together, especially because sometimes when that happens, there's no new dialogue, so it's just pointless, and I'm just making conversation for the sake of it. So yeah, I'll see you at the next NPC interaction, and if there's no NPC interactions, then I'll see you at the next area we're going to.
Poor thing. Another bad dream, Miyr. Put that rotten thing out of your mind. That tangled mess can't hurt you.
Okay, if I recall correctly, that's the name of the ghost child who's running around this place. Hello. That is one cool sword.
I've no interest in small talk. My only concerns are the concerns of Count Ymir, and you are not among them.
Me? Not among your concerns? Are you not concerned at the beautiful hamster alien butterfly that's just sort of popped into existence in front of you? I would be concerned personally.
Only, there is one thing I will say. Count Ymir's kindness is a gift. Should you cross him, you will sorely regret it.
I want to say we've heard this voice actor before. I'm not sure if it's in Elden Ring or another FromSoft game, but the voice sounds very familiar.
Begone. There is nothing more to say. Begone. There is nothing more.
All right. Yeah, there's clearly a fight in here at some point. I'm not sure when that will happen and like what the conditions are, but I do wonder if the fight is supposed to be with Count Ymir. Yeah, those are not... Shadows are not FromSoft's best work. I required ahead, but didn't expect to think carefully. Yeah, that map is rubbish, I'm sorry. That map is a complete travesty to all of cartography. Oh. Oh. Okay. So, it's not a ghost child, it's a hand. A hand child. With many fingers. How many fingers? Can we count? Too many fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 11 or 12. It's a lot of fingers. Hello.
Is something the matter? Here to squeeze another lesson out of me.
Oh. Did we miss this last time? Although perhaps not, because I believe... Yeah, these are all spells that... This one we have 2, we have 1 of these. We don't have Miriam's Vanishing, although I do remember this being a thing in the main game. The Karian Study Hall, that person, presumably Miriam. I don't recall if it was actually her, but yeah, we'll purchase it, sure, why not? What can you tell me about the knight in the black armor, friend?
Ah, you met Yulan. Well, I hope that she behaved, at least. The poor girl has overcome grave misfortune. Her tongue can be sharp at the best of times, but don't think that makes her a bad person. It's no surprise her little sister, too, has a heart of gold.
I love that we don't have an option to ask about the hand that he's cradling. Like, it's just such a normal thing that Regret's like, so about that night. There's no mention, there's no option to be like, so, is this your baby? Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, congratulations. Perhaps let's go reset the area and see if anything changes. So Julan, I believe her name is. So Julan is still there, and he is no longer cradling the hand.
Be gone. There is nothing.
Okay. Understood.
Is something the matter? Here to squeeze another lesson out of me?
Yeah, we might as well just purchase everything just in case it has some impact on his quest line. Alrighty. Let's have another rest and see if anything changes.
Here to squeeze.
Oh, gosh darn it. I really don't want to have to look at this map again. Like, honestly, friend, what kind of map is this? It's so bad. Faded and dirty indeed. And like, there's no indication which direction is north. Like, that circular thing has to be this, right? And maybe we missed a path heading that way, so, I'm really, stalling, not wanting to go to the Finger Ruins. We've also not been to this place yet. I suspect we need to find this hallowed ruin before we can continue his quest line. Door ahead, so I assume after he dies, whenever that boss fight is, it will reveal some underground path or some stairs leading down or something. See if we can find this hallowed ruin. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because at the moment, as ever, I don't have a ton of time to play today, so I don't want to spend it just running around aimlessly. Well, I suppose I have an aim, but someone died. I suppose I do have an aim, but running around with an aim that is unlikely to lead to anything. So, perhaps there's a spirit spring or something here that I missed. I see a bunch of wolves. Oh, and there's one of those circular grave sites in which we will find larval tear. Very nice. Okay, so this is actually a rather large cliff. Like, you can tell there's a cliff on the map, but I suppose it's somewhat difficult to tell, to discern the extent of the elevation. Such are the drawbacks of viewing a real-world 3D space on a 2D map. There's some wolves here. Hi, wolf friends. Don't mind me. I'm just looking for a path forward, and I'm not sure if I've been here yet. No. It does appear as though I missed something. Try up. hear it, but I can't see it. Oh, unless they mean inside the cave. Let's see. Indeed. Ash of War, Carian Sovereignty. Carian Sovereignty, skill passed down the Carian royal family. Transform blade into a magical greatsword and bring it down. Additional input allows, additional input follows up with a horizontal sweep. Charge either attack to enhance potency. Okay, I thought this was going to be the way forward. As in, like, another path forward. What is this? Oh, we've been there. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I thought it would be a dungeon or... Yeah. Praise the research. Indeed. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we came over here, if for no other reason than we did not yet. We had yet to find that scarab. I believe that's the same. It's interesting, the notion of Carian sovereignty, though the item itself doesn't actually elaborate on that. But I believe that is the same spell that was used by R'hllana or Khamûl. Okie dokes. So I suppose let's head over to our waypoint here. Oh gosh darn it. Torrent is too twitchy. Beautiful. Yeah, I get the sense that we may have to find some other way to get to the top of that cliff. I'm sorry, wolves. Unless... So this is the path we took to the Shadow Keep, I'm reasonably certain. You can hear the Shadow Keep music. However, did we go up this hillside here? Again, you'll have to forgive me, because even though for many of you it will only certainly have been a few weeks since I was last here in terms of when the episode was released. Whoa. For me, it has been some time. I can't say exactly how long, because it's sort of a blur for me the last few months, but it has been a while. Very intrigued by these... I've been calling them servants of rot, but what the heck was it? One of the item descriptions recently enlightened us as to the proper name. Kindred of rot. And the NPCs just randomly die. Certainly I don't think we've found any red-colored Kindred of Rot who are non-aggressive. It appears to only be the ones who are gray or white. Whatever color they happen to be. Dreadful weather, this. Oh. Blessed bone shards. So, yeah, we definitely missed... Whoa, who are you? Oh. Just those who live in death, friend. Okie dokie. So yeah, I totally missed this, but it doesn't appear as though there's much here, so no harm, no foul, as they say. So on our list of places to go, we have the Cathedral, we have the Church of the Bud main entrance, small private altar. We went and checked it out. Grandam doesn't have anything to say currently. And St. Trina, who I doubt has anything to say new at this point, so I suppose we're going to the Finger Ruins. Okay, here we go. This is frightening. I'm wondering, we would need another 100,000 runes to level up. I don't believe we have that many. In reserve, no. So we'll just press on and see what happens, I suppose. This place brings to mind another topic we discussed in the video essay, namely in the theoretical framework. This whole notion of I'm forgetting the exact term I used to describe it, but essentially a landscape that evokes within you a sense of dread, fear, confusion, like it's, you know, you can tell this place, these are not natural formations. Fingers don't just grow out of the ground with these sort of fingerprint-like patterns strewn across them, or covering the entire surface of them. Certainly you don't see giant fingers jutting out of the ground. We talked about that, of course, in the context of nuclear semiotics. As one of the approaches that have been proposed to... Why are they catching on fire? That was happening previously too. I don't know if that has something to do with the weapons we're using or what. Or if that's just a unique characteristic of the hands in the DLC.
If we are going to bury this waste, it's critically important for us to ensure that this waste is not disturbed while it's still highly radioactive. As we've already seen, however, our languages and our discourses change really, really quickly. Indeed, it's exceedingly unlikely that the English language as we know it today will survive for another 10,000 years. The solution to this problem, some of you might be thinking, is rather obvious. Just slap the radiation symbol on everything. The problem with this line of thinking, of course, is that there's nothing inevitable about our use of this symbol to indicate that something is radioactive. This symbol indicates that something is radioactive solely because a group of experts agreed that it should be used to indicate that something is radioactive. It's highly unlikely, in other words, that this symbol will mean anything to whomever is inhabiting the Earth 10,000 years from now. So this symbol alone simply won't do. How then do we transcend eons when communicating the significant dangers associated with a site like WIP? This question was the subject of a report prepared in 1993 by the Sandia National Laboratories in the United States, and here's what the authors came up with. The authors recommended that as someone approaches this site, they should encounter a series of increasingly complex messages. The 4 levels of complexity proposed by the authors are as follows. Level 1 messages convey rudimentary information indicating that this place was made by humans. Level 2 messages communicate cautionary information, indicating not only that this place was made by humans, but also that it's dangerous. Level 3 messages provide the what, why, when, where, who, and how of the site. Level 4 messages communicate complex information, including detailed records, tables, figures, graphs, maps, diagrams, and so on. So imagine that we happen upon the site 2,000 years from now. As we approach, we might be taken aback by the landscape before us. It appears unnatural and menacing. It evokes within us a sense of unease, and the inescapable feeling that this land has been cursed and shunned. In other words, the built environment of the site functions as a level 1 and level 2 message, in that it conveys not only that the site was created by intelligent beings, but also that these beings were not keen on having visitors, and that something dangerous lies ahead. To accomplish this, the authors propose a number of environmental designs, each of which is characterized by the presence of physical markers protruding from below, hinting at the horrifying substances that lie only a few hundred meters beneath the surface. Here are just a few of the designs proposed by the authors.
Essentially, the idea is that nuclear waste will last in some cases for, several hundreds of thousands of years. And, what do you do with it? So we talked in the previous episode, it's a very uplifting episode, that entire episode. One of the topics we discussed, the more uplifting topics, was about the requirement that every single thing we do as humans every single thing we do requires active maintenance. Humans must be actively engaged in the things we do in order to maintain them. This applies to everything, and of course, it's almost sort of a truism because, of course, given enough time, the entire universe will sort of either, depending on your perspective, it will either collapse in on itself or it will run away and everything will expand to such a degree that there won't be any heat left to sustain any form of life, and everything will just sort of die out. Again, very uplifting sort of message in this episode, but nuclear waste is one such issue. Oh, you are new. Where, at present, the vast majority, overwhelming majority of nuclear waste is stored on site at nuclear reactors in concrete or steel casks. And why is it always fingers? And this is a problem because, any number of things can happen to these casks, and before they're even put in casks, they're also stored in frightening. They're also stored in large pools of water while they cool down, and then they're only later moved to casks once they've sufficiently cooled down. So all of that is to say, there needs to be some form of long-term solution to storing this waste. And what has been proposed, essentially, is bury it underground. The problem with that is that, we humans have been excavating things for quite some time. And so what is to stop some human civilization thousands of years from now with no sort of... which may not understand or have a sort of detailed understanding of the history of the time period or epoch in which we're living. So they may not know that there's nuclear materials that are quite dangerous and deadly stored underneath the ground in particular places. And so, yeah, you need to come up with some way of conveying to these people who, by the way, will almost certainly not speak English, or if they do speak English, it won't really be recognizable as the English, the form of English we speak today. Because if you even go back 50 years or something, like the English we speak is very, very different than that which we spoke half a century or a century ago. So you can't just rely on, the primacy of the human language, which has been imposed by imperialism and colonialism and, supranational institutions like the World Bank or the United Nations. But again, I'm getting off track. But you can't just rely on English or language in general as a way to communicate the dangers associated with a nuclear waste disposal site. And so it was suggested that they come up with different designs, different ways of creating a menacing landscape such that it conveys to would-be intruders, those who would come across the site later and be like, this is really interesting, we should dig up whatever, excavate whatever's down here, because clearly, there's some amazing stuff. Or maybe they're looking for oil or, something else under the ground. Whatever the case may be, it's important to convey to that civilization, which, I suppose may not even necessarily be human. It could be some other species from Earth or from outer space, but it's important to convey to those people, you should stay away from this place because it could be dangerous. And so, yeah, they proposed a bunch of designs with sort of jagged spikes and, barbed wire and things like that jutting out from underneath the ground. And the idea was that anyone who comes across it should be able to look at it and immediately feel a sense of, these people don't want visitors insofar as there's people there, so let's go in the opposite direction. Let's tuck tail and run in the opposite direction. And in that video essay, I compared my first exposure, or I used this as a way of contextualizing my first response to coming across Caelid, which was, frightening experience at first, and I just, seen the bird with teeth and everything that you can see from the Rot View balcony and how horrifying it is, and I was just like, what is this place? Get me away from here. Immediately, I do not want to be here. And of course, I did eventually return, and then therein lies the fatal flaw in the idea underlying these designs for dissuading people from intruding on a nuclear waste disposal area, which is that we are humans, and likely any other species that will come across this in the future are very curious beings. If we're intelligent enough to be able to excavate a site like that, and intelligent enough to be able to look at the site and say, this is very interesting, let's see what's under the ground, then we're probably curious enough that such a being would probably be curious enough to want to proceed further and to not walk away, run in the opposite direction. And likewise, with Caelid, of course, and of course, it's not real. I'm playing a video game, I'm creating a YouTube playthrough, so I knew I had to eventually go there. There was no question that I was eventually going to go to Caelid and to, traverse the area and confront the enemies there and whatnot. But it's very much, I find it very interesting, just this notion of these menacing landscapes. Oh, gosh darn it. I'm going to pull up my script. I cannot remember for the life of me what the term was I used to describe it. And it wasn't my term. It was, I believe anyway, the term that was used in the report. But just give me a moment. I'm going to look it up. Okay, it actually wasn't that complicated. It was a hellscape. Hellscape, and I talked about environmental designs and anyways. Here we have another one of those nameless mausoleum coffins, I suppose. And not sure which one we ought to duplicate. Very difficult to say. Let's Duplicate Mesmer's remembrance. This whole boss remembrance duplication mechanic I find very interesting in that for the most part you can find many examples and few examples that don't align with this. FromSoft is very good. If you've ever watched any of my playthroughs, I talk about this a lot. FromSoft is very good at ensuring that the mechanics in its game are almost always associated with lore significant implications. There's almost always a story reason for the way the mechanics of the world and the various different things that you can do. And in this case, what the heck are you doing? You tobogganing? Okay. Whee! Those of you who are not aware, I don't know to what extent this is a thing elsewhere, but in Canada, where it snows not, at least not where I am, not exceptionally often, maybe a third of the year, tobogganing is where you sit on a sled or some other sort of platform. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it without using the exact words for it, which are sled or toboggan, and you slide down a hill that is covered in snow and often ice. And that looks like what that friend was just doing. But of course, I'm not sure that they were having fun. They may have been trying to run away from me. So yeah, this is an exceptional kind of hellscape in that whereas the Caelid hellscape, I looked at it and right away it very heavily leaned to the side of, okay, this is frightening. But I did also find it intriguing. This, I wouldn't exactly describe as a hellscape, but I think it straddles the line more between a hellscape and, oh my gosh, this is very interesting, let's go learn more about it and find out what is here. But certainly it's unnerving and unnatural. But yeah, returning to my point about the, silly and immature, but returning to my point about the mechanics, I wonder what in the heck the lore significance is. And by lore significance, I don't just mean, you can use it to understand the story, but also like there's typically some form of mechanical explanation within FromSoft games for the various mechanics. Like, the things aren't just magic, although in some cases perhaps it is. But often FromSoft will have meaningful and reasonable within the context of the cosmology of the world explanations for why you can do certain things and why you can't do other things. There's an internal logic to it, in other words. Oh, nailstone. Flake-like stone shard with a faint fingerprint engraving, found at Finger Ruins. A piece that came loose from the tip of one of the column-like stone fingers that grow at Finger Ruins. Sounds lovely. I noted quite some time ago that we could use Torrent here, but I've been just walking around on foot because I'm so intrigued by this area that I want to explore every nook and cranny of it. There's some sort of river that ends here? Stream, I should say. Perhaps this was once underwater? It's not clear to me. So are these friends perhaps distantly related to our Volcano Manor friend, Rhia the Scout? I'm trying to remember their actual name, Zariah's. maybe not. It's almost like they're a mix of fingers and Zarias. Why is it always research indeed? In my case, YouTube. I can't really explain for you. Oh, someone's using gravity magic? But who? And where? Okay, this finger... has sort of a fingertip has fallen off, I suppose. Well, these friends are everywhere. These snake finger friends. It's difficult to know how you're supposed to explore this area. And yeah, I've had similar issues with the other sort of wide open world areas. Like you need sort of search party mentality. You comb it in a systematic sort of way, but my problem is usually that I end up getting turned around, or you know, I feel like all the surroundings look the same, so I lose track of where I am. Do seem to be at an appropriate Scadutree level for this place, though. Because at least these friends are not posing a significant challenge. Finger mimic. Light pink mushroom resembling a wizened finger. Material used for crafting items, exceedingly rare to find. Used by those who wish to become fingers to induce hallucinations. They call these mushrooms the stillborn of the two fingers. Okay, that's fascinating. Mushrooms have... it's another one of those recurring sort of themes in the world, or... not sure that the mushroom itself is a theme, but like it's associated with different themes in the world. I've discussed mushrooms as highlighting the extent to which the game world is sat atop a vast communications network, that the various different trees and plants and other things in the world communicate via fungal strands called mycorrhizae. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not an ecologist, of course, a social scientist, but yeah, very unnerving, this place. I wonder what they have buried underground. So yeah, returning once again, still no precious item indeed, to the question of the mechanics and the lore and the relationship between them. I'm just wondering about the duplication mechanic, the mechanic for duplicating remembrances, duplicating a memory that was hewn into the Scadutree or the Erdtree, whatever the case may be. And yeah, not sure that I have anything more to add than that, but I just wanted to make sure I completed that point, because I do tend to trail off and get distracted by other things, especially when I'm tired as I am today. But it's, you know, because obviously from a mechanical perspective, there's an obvious explanation for it, which is a traditional FromSoft game. Traditional, I can hear Cassidy saying, Aegon, you've not played any traditional FromSoft games. You've never even played a Kingsfield game, which, fair enough, Cassidy. I don't disagree with that. So,
at least going back to Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 1, I feel like this is the way forward, and we've still not finished exploring, or maybe it isn't. It looks like it might just be a sort of dead end, but we'll see. In Dark Souls 1, in order to... I'm struggling to remember whether in Dark Souls 1 there even were multiple items you could craft from a single boss soul. And I think, yes, actually I think there were. Thinking about, for instance, Gwyn's soul, you could get the Sunlight Spear, or you could get the Great Lord's Greatsword, or whatever it was called. So I do believe that was a thing. But in order to do that, you need to do 2 New Game cycles, New Game and New Game Plus at minimum, because you can only use the soul to create one of those items. So in Dark Souls 2, their solution to requiring wanting players to experiment more, I suppose, with the boss soul weapons, was to introduce bonfire aesthetics, which allowed you to reset the boss. It, of course, put that particular area into the next New Game level, up to New Game Plus 7, and then, every New Game level after that is just the same. It's just New Game 7, New Game Plus 7 all over again. But doing so would allow you to gain access to those boss soul items without doing an entirely new game cycle. So the solution in Elden Ring is different, which is, why don't you just duplicate the boss soul, or the remembrance, as it were. And yeah, that makes sense, but I'm just, how does finding some nameless mausoleum or nameless coffin permit one to take a remembrance and duplicate it, such that you can then bring that to Finger Reader Enya, and then she can sort of help you craft the same item that person was using. So it does look like that continues in that direction. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to mark that, and just head back here and just make sure we've not missed anything over here. Because that does appear to be the way forward. However, I've also not seen what is in the center of this area. And I'm returning to the idea of a waste disposal site. And, oh, there's going to be a boss here, isn't there? If there is, we're going to run away and continue to go in that other direction, because I think we were probably right around the corner there from a site of grace. You know what? Let's summon here. Summon our shield bros. Oh. Well played, friends. I didn't see where that came from, though. Is that fired from above? It looked almost like it came from one of the fingers, which obviously the fingers are life forms. Life forms with agency, so like it shouldn't surprise me so much, but these all appear to be fossilized. Good job, shield friends, thank you. Appreciate your assistance. Pearlescent scale. A glassy and glistening fragment of pearlescent hue, material used for crafting items, found by hunting lamprey. Lamprey? These retrograde scales are found embedded deep within the skin of lamprey. Let's look that up. I don't know what that is. So it is lamprey, pronounced lamprey, and it's a noun which refers to an eel-like aquatic jawless vertebrate that has a sucker mouth with horny teeth and a rasping tongue. The adult is often parasitic, attaching itself to other fish and sucking their blood. Very interesting.
So presumably that's why they use... Oh, sorry, shield friends. I didn't mean... I'm just sitting here looking at a dictionary and they're like, oh, what's going on? I thought we were exploring. Presumably that's why they are using that gravity magic, because they can constrain you and then grab you and suck your blood. So, fair enough, friends. So I don't know what the boundary is here in terms of our shield friends, but obviously going to continue exploring here and trying to take out more of the lamprey. Oh, there go the shield bros. Thank you, shield bros. Thank you. Shield friends, I should say. I don't know that they're all necessarily bros, but... yeah, as I said, the open world areas I'm not tremendous at exploring because it can be quite overwhelming, the amount of stuff and the fact that it's all largely just an open area. You can see here these are presumably fingers that have snapped. And if you were to look throughout the whole area, you'd probably find that many of these fingers are, like, there are hands that are supposed to be there, or like hands insofar as the fingers. Okay, I should pay attention here. Oh no, I'm dead. Well done with your magic, friend. Oh yeah, it looked like they were about to do a grab attack to suck our blood. Not today, friend, I apologize. But yeah, it does look like they're not just individual fingers, they are fingers as like a collective, which is to say, 2 or 3 fingers that are all sort of... This is basically a massive finger graveyard. Mashing L1 at this point. Alright, so nothing up here then? Because they were surrounded. Fair enough, that almost happened to us just now, so I really can't talk smack about them. I could, it wouldn't be justified though. It'd be a tad hypocritical. Oh, gosh darn it. Yeah, thankfully these things don't really work exceptionally well together. Otherwise we'd be in deep trouble because there's so many of them. Oh! Okay, so this is another path then? Just thinking about how I was making excuses for my ability to explore open world areas, but then it occurred to me, yeah, I'm also not very good at exploring the dungeons either, so yeah, you can just say I'm not good at exploring, and full stop, and that would be accurate. But I do my best, so I hope you all don't find it too aggravating watching me, as I put it earlier, flounder my way, or in the previous episode, flounder my way around and trying to sort of find my way around. I see another furnace column. Well, you came out of nowhere. Well, I saw them there, but I didn't realize they were already charging at me. Oh, that's bad. Sorry, hand friend. So where the heck are we now then? Okay. That's interesting. I assume there's going to be a site of grace nearby. So we are going to want to go fight that friend eventually. Not sure exactly how we will, but in that I'm not sure how we're going to make our way all the way over there, but there's a shack up here, it looks like. I really don't want to respawn anything in the Finger Ruins, so we're going to try, if there is a site of grace, we're just going to try and light it, and then... Oh, ghost. Finger Weaver's Hovel. Finger Weaver's Cookbook, first page. Aha! My theory is proven true! The Finger Creepers hail from these ruins! So now I must sound this one hanging bell! And sweetly cradled shall I come to be at the bosom of the exalted mother. Okay, exalted mother. Is that the same as the other mother we've been hearing about? Oh. Uh-oh. What is that? Oh, it's just a bear. Okay. A record of crafting techniques left by a determined student of the Finger Ruins. His brush with the sublime all but shattered his mind, though he was left capable enough to leave these few precious words. Acquire the knowledge to craft the following glinting nail. Nailstone with shining fingerprints floating above. Craftable item. Uses FP to fling a magic nail that crumbles during flight. The lampreys that guard the Finger Ruins resemble fingers far more than they do humans, and so the Finger Weavers imitated their sorcery. It looks like there are actually... Yeah, there's a bear sleeping right there as well, so let's try to aggro them one at a time. Hope that we don't get murdered. I'm sorry, bear friend. Sorry. Obviously standing up to try and spook us, scare us away. We're obviously back in the Cerulean coast. See, obviously because of the, not just the look of the area, but also you can hear that ringing in the background. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. I tried gesturing, but they don't include a gesture, so thanks for that. Let's try this anyway. And DLC gesture does not seem to be worth very much. This is beginning to look like a dead end. Research.
Yeah, a lot of dead ends in this in this game in general, I guess, but especially in the DLC, I feel like. But you know, I've said this before. Of course, you can't have something amazing in every nook and cranny of the game, because if you do, then it sort of detracts from those moments when you do come across something wonderful. So, yeah. Okay, so we murdered those 2 bears for no reason. I'm sorry, bear friends. My bad. Oh. We're right underneath that dragon, so, which is hopefully petrified. Be worried if ill-omened creature. Oh no, the dragon's gonna wake up, aren't they? Oh my goodness! Oh, I jumped out of my seat. I literally jumped out of my seat. It's a good thing Anne of Astora and Aurelia of Astora are not home, because I would have been very embarrassed by that. Wow, that scared the daylights out of me. And I literally just read the message too. Be wary of ill-omened creature. I'm like, okay. Oh, I wonder if it's going to be the dragon. Oh my goodness. Classic Aegon, am I right? Okay, now I am the slightest bit turned around. Praise the bright spot. I believe oh yeah, so I guess introspection then. So I guess that's it for this spot. Once again, this is sort of a transition point. I've just started a new recording session as well, I should say. Not just a new recording. So there's always a risk when I walk away in the middle of an area like that, that I'm going to come back and be like, where am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? Have I been here? No, I haven't. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Like, just... I am sincerely sorry. Because I know, and I do my best to sort of edit around my confusion when stuff like that happens. Not because, you know, I'm so self-conscious that I'm afraid of looking stupid or silly or, you know, whatever, but just because I can imagine it would probably be frustrating to be watching a single episode of a YouTube series in which the person gets lost multiple times walking around in areas they've already been in the episode. But unfortunately, there's not really much by way of an alternative, because if each episode were to be a recording session, then, you know, some episodes would be 5 minutes, some episodes would be 30. The max time I get these days for recording is probably 45 minutes. As I've said on many occasions in the last 10 plus episodes, the days of me being able to record for hours on end are in the past. It's just, my life is in a different place now. I'm just grateful that I'm still able, though, to be able to not just play, but to be able to record my playthrough and share it with each of you. I really do enjoy that. And, you know, even though my interaction with each of you will be limited by this sort of self-imposed delay that I'm maintaining in between recording episodes and releasing them, I will nevertheless greatly enjoy, for the most part, because there are always some comments that are less than enjoyable to read because, you know, people are somewhat unreasonable sometimes, but that's okay. The vast majority of the comments I love reading, and it's been very slow in terms of comments on the channel lately. It's because I haven't released any new content since the video essay, which at the time of recording would have been, I don't know, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that. Ouch. For those of you wondering, I continue mashing, not just because I'm mashing L1, but because I'm also hoping to proc bleed so that it activates the ring that we have on. Okay. There appears to be a set of fingers right in the middle there, so that is where we were, and this is where I said we wanted to go. I believe the first beacon is going to lead to another area. And knowing me, I probably turned around right as we were about to find the site of grace. But I was mindful of the fact that we walked away from this area, started sort of proceeding in that direction, without first having checked out whatever this central monument is. And indeed, thinking back to this idea of these waste isolation sites and the sort of design of the menacing earthworks, hellscapes above ground to dissuade people from digging up nuclear waste. The center of the site, according to those designs, the designs that were proposed anyway, the center of the site is where the most information can be found. So, yeah. Let us head to the center. But yeah, all of that is to say, for those of you who are still here, and I don't know why I'm specifying those of you who are still here, because if you're still here, you're obviously still here, and if you're not, then you're not hearing what I'm saying anyway, So yeah, if you're watching this, thank you for being here, and thank you for your patience, because I know there are many Elden Ring playthroughs out there. Certainly, I imagine far more Elden Ring playthroughs than there ever were, you know, Dark Souls or Dark Souls 2 playthroughs, and the Souls series, I guess, has become much more popular, and yeah, I think that's very much justified and well-deserved for FromSoft and everyone involved in these games. So, you know, but that just means you all have many more options than just me. And certainly, I imagine many of you will have already seen several playthroughs at this point, so I'm not sure what's so special about mine that you waited all this time to watch it, but thank you, and welcome. I hope that it hasn't disappointed you in the last 10 plus episodes, this being the 11th episode. I'm deathly afraid that something's going to happen here. Oh. Sound hanging bell. From whom did we get the bell? I do not remember. I'm really scared though. Whole Leda necklace, a pale blue necklace made from a thin, elongated stone hollowed out from the inside, used at a hallowed ruin to sound a hanging bell. It was a teaching of Count Ymir. The fate of one who sounds the hanging bell will be guided by the stars. Crimson Seed Talisman +1. A crimson-colored talisman patterned after an Erdtree seed. Greatly boosts HP restoration from the flask of Crimson Tears. The Erdtree seed of this talisman was presumed to be an object of myth. This age-old artifact also depicts the two fingers, perhaps harking back to the birth of the Erdtree. That's interesting. Okay. So there was an item earlier, not too long ago anyway, that mentioned, yeah, the golden crucible. So I've been thinking about that. It's one of the things I have scratched on my notepad here. A couple other items that we are going to need to sort of return to later on, just because I don't have the mental capacity at the moment to. Oh, and these are like, they're not fingers, but these are pillars that have a very similar sort of fingerprint pattern to that which we find on the fingers. So presumably that was their sort of form of communication, their runes. You know, I talked in my video, I say about runes being the language of the gods, so these sort of, the fingerprints would seem anyway to be the language of the fingers, which I think makes sense. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. And I've already lost my train of thought. Yes, the golden crucible. So we talked in my video essay about, and you know, this is something that many people have said, like, yeah, it's an interesting idea. I don't think it's right though, which is fair enough. You know, as I've mentioned before, I was bound to be wrong about a lot of things, and that seems to be one of them. Oh, there's another hand. But it's been mentioned that yeah, red is not, it wasn't necessarily like a conscious rebranding exercise where the Great Tree was red and then when it became the Erdtree, it was suddenly gold. Like, it wasn't a conscious thing as much as it was the Crucible being one thing and then the Erdtree being something else. And, you know, the working theory in my mind based on one or two comments, as well as that video by Sophie Pilbeam and Sinclair Lore, which is that perhaps what is that? Oh, another hand. It looked different for some reason from that perspective. That, gosh darn it, once again I've lost my train of thought. My apologies. Oh. I'm stuck under the hand. They had me in the palm of their hand. Yeah, so this notion of the golden crucible is something that we'll have to sort of park and think about for the future, because my understanding is that or at least the color red was associated with the crucible. And of course, now it's basically the, you know, red. You don't really see that as much as you do gold because of the Erdtree. And in the case of the Scadutree, there's gold there as well, even if it's sort of gold shrouded in shadow. Because, yeah, is there actually a gold crucible? Did the Erdtree come from a different crucible? Or did it actually sprout from the crucible, which was red, but then, you know, perhaps when the Elden beast came into contact with the crucible, it sort of changed the composition of it such that it then became the golden crucible, out of which the Erdtree emerged, grafted onto the Great Tree roots, anyway. So, yeah. You know, again, don't know that any of that makes any sense. Just something I've been thinking about since reading that description, this notion that there exists a gold crucible. Okay, so, we're going in the opposite direction to where I thought we were going. However, we're still coming across friends here, so let's keep going, and hopefully we can clear out this entire location. Thankfully, the flask refills have been quite generous here. Lots of small squads of friends here.
Still no map. Yeah, so we can't reach the map from here, in other words. Thank goodness for our bow. I don't know what we'd do without it. We'd be in deep trouble. It's very interesting magic these friends have. It's not often, I don't think, that we see sort of white magic. Maybe I'm imagining that. So we have more than enough to level up now. Not that we really need the levels, because we don't, but just something to strive for, I guess. So we're at what level now? Level 201. It might have been nice to stop at a nice even level 200, but no reason to not keep going, given how, because of the law of diminishing returns and how it functions in and around stats, there's no, like, danger that we'll be significantly more overpowered than we already are, particularly in this DLC. I've really given up on worrying about whether people will think I'm overpowered or not, because I think FromSoft really did their own due diligence in ensuring that no one would feel overpowered in this DLC. Given the occasionally absurd levels of difficulty involved. I'm very interested to try that that talisman that improves your healing. It might actually be beneficial to use that during a boss fight, in which you're sort of healing a lot. But I suppose at the same time, if you're healing a lot, like it's a lot more efficient, probably, to just use the same, like to chug twice, because then you don't have to lift it up to your mouth. You skip that animation, or at least most of it. So yeah, I imagine a lot of this is just going to be nail stones and things like that, which is disgusting. We're literally picking up nails. Did all these friends respawn or what? Unless we just did we not fight these friends? We had to have. I certainly didn't rest at a site of grace, I don't think. Okay. In any case, let's head now finally to our beacon, because I think we've got everything at this point. So yeah, not nearly as, at least not yet, not nearly as menacing or frightening as, maybe it wasn't, I wasn't frightened, it's just a bit unnerving. The notion of, like, this entire place being filled with, oh crap, I'm so bad at the horseback combat. This whole notion of, you know, a menacing landscape consisting of giant fingers is, yeah, as I mentioned, unnerving is probably the best word for it. Okay, why am I still coming across you, friends? They had to have respawned. Unless I'm just that dreadful at exploring the area, which, you know, maybe that's probably more likely. Alright. These friends are giving us nothing, basically, so no point in murdering them all. Let's just proceed. Did I just turn around and go back?
think I did. I'm so turned around again. Gosh darn it. Yep, I did. It feels like I'm going down a hallway. But then I just end up back in... Yeah, I'm a bit confused. As I said, turned around. Maybe this was Master Ymir's plan. Hilariously, I should have just kept going. Because I don't actually think this is what I thought it was, which is sort of a pathway to another area. Because it looks like, because of these pillars here, I'm thinking that I'm going to another area, but then I just loop back around to the main area. Gosh darn it, okay. Count Miyr, I failed you, friend. Oh, and you know, I guess that makes sense. The fact that we went there earlier and he had the fingers, he was cradling the fingers, so, you know, he's very sympathetic to the plight of the fingers, it would seem. Fair enough. At least in the Shadow Realm, they don't seem like they've had an easy time. Seem like they've been dealing with some challenges. Though in the lands between, they do appear to be firmly entrenched in sort of the oppressive power structure of the society, so, you know. I'm sure it's more complicated than them just being evil oppressors, but yeah. And I say that because typically it is in FromSoft games, but although sometimes people are just awful, and that's that, but... Oh, one-shotted them. Okay, I want to say that that's it. Very difficult to actually say, though, because everything just looks the same. It's very labyrinthian, just a bunch of fingers. I can't imagine that this place is just this. Like, it has to lead somewhere, right? Am I just... Again, yes, I know I'm terrible at exploring, but am I that terrible? So this up here is definitely another finger ruins. So you know what? Yeah, I'm satisfied. I think we've explored everything we possibly could here. Because if this whole place is basically, you know, obviously it's probably significant from a story perspective. It's very interesting. It's aesthetically pleasing. You know, there's a lot going on here. But if the whole thing is just for one talisman, that's that's very interesting. Very interesting decision. But yeah, it's looking like that's the case. So let's head back to the Cathedral of Manus Metyr. Dreadful frame rate. Let's start by leveling up. No hand baby this time. Hello.
Be gone. There's nothing.
At least you're truthful when you say there's nothing more to say. Howdy, Count.
Oh, there you are. The exalted timbre of the bell has reached these ears of mine. Gracious, the starry sky is wondrous tonight indeed. Only your fate shines brighter. Now, these are for you.
Oh, gosh darn it. Another test. Beloved Stardust.
Think nothing of it. I have made my decision to be of help. May the gleaming stars guide you evermore.
Okay. Wow, we're getting right into the deep cosmological questions. Ask about the nature of the world. Oh, and he has some new sorcery. Glintstone Nail. Glintstone sorcery of Count Ymir, High Priest. One of the finger sorceries said to have been discovered in a hallowed ruin. Flings a magic nail that crumbles during flight. Charging increases potency. Count Ymir boasts that this is mere child's play, an echo of a greater truth. So this is obviously the spell that was being used by those friends in the Finger Ruins. So either we've somehow conveyed to him how the spell works and he's recreated it and now he's selling it back to us, or he already knew it, but now that he knows we've seen it, he's sort of opened up to us about how to do this particular spell. So yeah, interesting. Glintstone sorcery of Count Ymir, High Priest. One of the finger sorceries said to have been discovered in a hallowed ruin. Flings multiple magic nails that crumble during flight. Charging increases potency. Count Ymir boasts that this is mere child's play, an echo of a greater truth. I'm laughing thinking about the idea of nails as being like a projectile attack. And, you know, to be fair, it's not too far off from reality. If you use nail clippers of a particular type, sometimes the nails just fly away, and yeah, you could use them as a projectile attack. I guess the key in this instance is that these attacks allow you to channel it in a controllable way, whereas when you're cutting fingernails or toenails, they just sort of fly wherever. So yeah, good times. I don't think it's worth purchasing them at this point, or maybe we will. Yeah, whatever. Why not? And let's ask about the nature. Tell me about the nature of the world, friend.
I fear that you have borne witness to the whole of it. The conceits, the hypocrisy of the world built upon the Erdtree. The follies of men. Their bitter suffering. Is there no hope for redemption? The answer, sadly, is clear. There never was any hope. They were each of them defective. Unhinged from the start. Marika herself. And the fingers that guided her. And this is what troubles me. No matter our efforts, if the roots are rotten, then we have little recourse.
So he's seen my video essay. That's the only explanation. He said, you know, you've seen it, of course. You've seen it all. So he's seen my video essay. Yeah, makes sense. You know, I cited in my video essay Audre Lorde, that the Master's tools will never dismantle the Master's house. And that the one ending where you just burn everything to the ground sort of makes sense in a society that is just rotten to its core. So, yeah, very interesting. So now we can ask about Miquella. Tell me a little bit about Miquella, friend, if you don't mind.
Ever young Miquella saw things for what they were. He knew that his bloodline was tainted, his roots mired in madness. A tragedy if ever there was one. That he would feel compelled to renounce everything when the blame lay squarely with the mother.
Okay, so we're seeing a very similar story with Miquella that we did with Prince Lothric in Dark Souls 3, I think. The idea that all the hopes were pinned on this one person to sort of carry the dynasty through to another generation, to maintain the way of the world as it is, and to resist calls for structural change from below. to maintain the status quo at all costs or any cost. And Miquella, for one reason or another, has pushed back against that, much like Prince Lothric, that puts them at odds with the player character, who, you know, you could argue has a choice as to whether or not to perpetuate the status quo, but ultimately, yeah, most of the endings you pursue as the player character will maintain the status quo to some degree. Okay, thanks a lot, friend. You've provided us some very interesting food for thought. I appreciate it. I'm full for now, but maybe I'll come back when I'm hungry for additional food for thought later. Okay, bye.
May the gleaming stars guide you evermore.
And likewise, map to old ruins received. Check in inventory. Thank you for reminding me, game. I almost forgot. Okay, let's start with the beloved Stardust. A talisman depicting a wizened hand gently gripping a glintstone. Shortens casting speed for sorcery and incantations by the utmost, but increases damage taken. Count Ymir was known for his recitations. One need only... Gosh, every voice I do is the same, other than the ghost voice. It's the ghost voice and this low, grovelly one. Okay. One need only envision the romance of the stars above. Just, no. One need only envision the romance of the stars above, with adoration for stardust in one's heart, to become a great sorcerer. Do so and... I just started going back to the grovelly voice. Do so and you will know love. Okay, one need only envision the romance of the stars above, with adoration for stardust in one's heart, to become a great sorcerer. Do so and you will know love. So, envision the stars, the romance of the stars above with adoration for stardust. So, okay, so this map is completely pointless because we don't know how to get there. You can see his little church at the bottom of the map, which is fine, but then you see the massive cliff. So, is that to suggest... Is there some alternate exit that we've missed? There has to be, right? Like, I don't know how else we're supposed to get over here. I'm a bit lost. Either that or we could go to the Church of the Bud and finally do that boss fight. The whole thing about Stardust and appreciation for Stardust as, you know, the romance of the stars. Obviously, we all consist of Stardust. We are made of Stardust, and literally. That if you trace the history of the Earth back billions of years, and you know, go further back than that, like we're all comprised of atoms that were once inside of stars, which then exploded, and you know, those atoms got strewn throughout the universe, which then eventually, you know, some of those atoms secreted to form the solar system, some of those atoms formed the Earth, and here we are. So we're all stardust. So, you know, in scientific terms in our world, that's what the notion of stardust, that's sort of the romantic Carl Sagan notion of stardust. Adoration for stardust. So you can look up and adore the stardust, but we are ourselves stardust. So stardust in one's heart. So there could be multiple meanings to this quote. Do so and you will know love. So love in this context meaning you not only adore the stars above, but you adore yourself. So it's love for self, love for the other. And, you know, again, it's probably not the correct interpretation of this, but that's how I'm reading it. So yeah, there you have it. Is there nothing else to say?
How did you...
Oh.
Did Count Ymir reward you with that?
There is more to say.
Then I see you have gained his trust, and therefore mine. I am Yolan. The night is yours now to wield.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, as I said, I guess there is more to say.
Don't get the wrong idea. We are neither friends nor confidants.
Oh.
I am merely honoring Count Ymir's wishes.
Okay, well, got my hopes up for a second there. I'm still going to call you my friend. Is that okay?
Enough of you.
Okay. Okay, that's that's pretty clear.
Enough of...
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, we'll chat soon. I'm gonna go have a rest, and then we'll chat again. Hopefully she's not too jealous. Oh. Okay, that's interesting.
Enough of you.
Gosh darn it. I thought we were cool. Hopefully Count Ymir's not upset with us for doing this. Okay, so this has to be presumably the passage either to go here or to go up here. I don't know how it would lead to the latter, but the former seems more likely. Oh, and we can attack in here now? Or can we? Oh, whoops. I was taking thumbnail shots. Oh, yeah, so the thing on the left is still there. I thought it was gone, but I just forgot to re-enable the HUD.
Enough of you.
Okay, enough of you as well, friend. Okay, I'll see you later, friend. Take care. I consider you my friend, so I'm sorry that the feeling isn't mutual. Here we go. Long way down, presumably. Whoa. There's another bell. Wow. Okay. Jeez Louise. What is... My goodness. I wonder if you looked at the concept art for the main game, if there was anything like this, or like did they just come up with all this stuff when conceiving of their ideas for the DLC? Finger Ruins of Miyr. Look at this place. My goodness. Sword Hand of Knight Anna. Okay. Oh, get wrecked. Claws of Night. Claws of a bottomless black from which no light can escape, wielded by Anna, Swordhand of Night. Engraved with a smith script enabling strong attack to launch all 3 claws at a target. The blades are only semi-corporeal and cannot be fully guarded against. Skill, Scattershot Throw. Employ smithing arts to conjure multiple copies of the armament in both hands, and throw them all at once. Follow up with an additional input to throw again. Okie dokie. Oh. Okay. Okay, I'm going to assume we don't have the thing we need for this. Uh-oh. heck? Oh. I thought there was a stake of Marika there. Okay. Our runes are down there, which, you know, whatever, there's only like 40,000, but... Hi, friend.
Enough of you.
Okay,
Enough of you.
Hey, just so you know, I was attacked by a sword hand of night underground.
Stop. What did you just say? Wait, no. Say nothing. I have one star alone, and only his words will do.
Okay. What does that mean?
I will say this much. I am in your debt, but I will hear no more. I have one star alone, and only his words will do.
I assume she's talking about the Count?
Be on your... I will hear no more about this.
Sorry, I thought that was repeated dialogue. I assume that's it, though.
Be on your way.
Okay.
I will hear...
Be on your way. Well, let's see what Count Ymir... I was worried for a second that they were both going to be like, hey, what were you doing underground? You're not supposed to mess with my throne, ever. Because he would have came back to find his throne pushed back and this secret passage open. And then I just respawn at the site of the site of grace, just being like, oh, sorry, I don't know what happened.
Did you espy something unsightly, perchance? Well, put it out of your mind. The stars will reveal the truth in time. Free yourself of any misconceptions, lest they bring woe upon the both of us.
Okay.
Oh, hello. Is something the matter?
That's quite the tonal shift. So, no new sorcery.
May the gleaming stars guide you evermore.
Alright, let's see. If anything has changed, he's still there, she's still there.
Be on your way. I will hear no more about this.
Alright, I'm on my way.
Oh, hello. Is something the matter? May the gleaming star...
Okie dokes, so... we can maybe try to figure out how to get down here. So these are large cliffs we can't get by. We already tried from the Cerulean coast. But it really does look like this river goes that way, but I'm pretty sure it goes this way. And that led to the Cerulean coast, but let's see. I'm thinking that it's possible that the path forked and I just somehow missed it. So let's make sure we're going the right way. We are not. We need to go east and then south. Okie dokes. I was once told the coffin could convey to the velvet garden of deepest purple. Oh, to slumber in such a pair. Yeah. So, yes, that was the friend who told us about the coffin. However, it's now apparent in hindsight what he was referencing, which is the coffin fissure, which, yeah, does eventually lead to the Garden of Deepest Purple. So no surprises there. Oh. Okay, fine. Totally fine. Alright. So now I can see. And there's the friend right in front of us. Did I just run by it last time, or? Yeah, I guess I did. Okay. Gosh darn it. I was quite cowardly at the time. And, you know, probably wouldn't be inaccurate to say that I am still quite cowardly, but at least now we know how to deal with them, so let's do it. That was, not great. Bad. Okay, not doing too bad thus far. I think my complaints from the previous episode still stand in that, like, it's tedious. It's very tedious fighting these things. Just takes a lot of time. We're gonna get toast here. Oh. Get toasted, I should say. Once again, if you don't start running, if you leave yourself in a position where you're compromised from a stamina perspective, then it's really not good. He says as he continues to compromise his stamina. Oh no. Once more. See, this is my struggle, because the tedium of the fight just makes you make stupid mistakes the longer the fight goes on, because you just want to get it over with. That's my issue anyway. Get wrecked. Viridian Hidden Tear and Furnace Visage. Can be mixed in the flask of wondrous physic. The resulting concoction eliminates all stamina consumption. Whoa. However, this effect is only brief and will quickly expire. Okay, well, it kind of limits its usefulness, I think, but yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so this then was just like a transitory area, essentially. There's the other side where we just were not too long ago. Uh-oh. Gosh darn it. Okay then. I'm wondering if it's worth, because I did want to make sure we weren't missing anything there. So yeah, before we move on to the next area, let's just do a quick run back and see if we were missing anything obvious in terms of, you know, that leading to the area of the map where we don't yet have access and where the map may, or the remaining lighthouse may be located. It's funny, probably not a coincidence, almost certainly not a coincidence, but the runes have an effect around it that's very similar to what we see around the site of grace when they're first discovered. And otherwise, like, it creates sort of a mirage of a tree. A giant lightning goat, because of course, why wouldn't there be one here? Yeah, that's way too far down. I was thinking maybe there'd be like a bunch of graves in the side of the cliff or something that I missed to climb down, but no, it's not looking that way. Okie dokes. Let us see what we have remaining. So, Finger Runes I think is done. And the rest of these are NPC locations. So, all that we have left is, yeah, Church of the Bud. So let's go get lit. I have no idea what awaits us. We only have 11,000 runes, so that's fine. So don't need to worry about those. But what do we have on currently? So we have magic damage negation. Let's just change that for the Viridian Amber Medallion. Okie dokie. Fairly basic setup we have, but let's see what we have in store first before we make any adjustments to it. Romina, Saint of the Bud. Okay. So I mentioned that we did have a kind of, at least I ought to have mentioned, that there was that Crucible Knight whose power transformed them into a centaur. And it reminded me that in Dark Souls 2, and in Dark Souls 1 in fact, there were two sort of centaur adjacent bosses. In Dark Souls 1 there was Quelaag and Quaylon. So Quelaag being the boss and Quaylon the NPC that you find after defeating Quelaag. And then in Dark Souls 2, gosh, I can't even remember the boss's name. Ouch. She was the boss right before Earthen Peak, I believe. And it was a centaur, but instead of a horse, it was a scorpion. So this is probably closer to Quelaag and Quaylon than that was, but Quelaag and Quaylon were like a spider, whereas this is obviously a centipede and a scorpion in one. So yeah, I guess it's a mix of both bosses. I'm about to... I need some boluses.
Oh, gonna need those equipped for the next boss fight, I think. That's bad. Oh no, so this is like... Oh, there it is. It's like the reincarnation of everyone's favorite boss. Yeah, that's certainly reminiscent of the waterfowl dance. Oh, that's bad. That was stupid. Okay, so we have some adjustments to make. So yeah, we should probably use the modeled necklace. That will increase our resistance to scarlet rot. And then, yeah, just adjust our equipment to raise, I guess, immunity, or is it immunity and robustness? I don't remember what the blood loss and frostbite immunity is for scarlet rot, almost certainly. Okay, it's not pretty, but this is what we're going with. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, I deserve that. Scorpionus Najka, that's who it is. The Dark Souls 2 boss. Just came to me. Keep missing. Was almost too good of a start, because now I can only go downhill from here. Ouch. And here we go. I love the music. Oh, well played.
It's definitely a sweet spot in terms of your positioning. The first phase is quite easy to stay there. Second phase, not so much. Oh, that really hurts. I need some more boluses, please. Hardly breathe during this boss fight. She's so relentless. Oh. I thought I rolled through that. Come on, we're almost there. Almost there. Oh, darn it. No. No, we were so close. This is not my best attempt thus far. Oh. So was this person like the former monarch of this ancient civilization, or did she come here afterwards and just sort of set up shop here? Not clear on that. Oh no, we're dead. No. Get out of there. wasted that second heal there. Screwed up. So close. Oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no. Yes. Okay, that was really messy, and the boss is actually quite generous when you think about it. Twice there, at least twice, the boss sort of, the way their body curled around me just carried me, and so I was able to just continue hacking with the boss as she was moving across the boss room. So yeah, I don't know that we deserve that, but I'll certainly take it. Wow, okay. Whew. Remembrance of Romina, Saint of the Bud, hewn into the Scadutree. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by the finger reader. Alternatively, it can be used to gain a great bounty. Of runes. After the church was burned to the ground, Romina discovered a twisted divine element, which she weaved into the baleful scarlet wrought. Perhaps then, the buds might find somewhere to gain purchase once more within the scorched ruins. Okay, interesting. The remembrance is in black and white. I think that's the first time we've seen that. Yeah, the remembrances are otherwise gold. The fire giant is red, as you know, and for the sort of outer god type ones, the ones that have to do with the sort of outer space element, are bluish. The remembrance of putrescence, also bluish. Okay, yeah, the remembrance of the dancing lion is also sort of grayscale. And several of the DLC bosses are sort of shadowy gold. Very interesting. Okay. So we might as well level up. Yeah, we're getting more additional damage with this one, with Dex than with Arcane, so let's use Dex. Okay, before we proceed to the ceiling tree, because I believe that's what that is, let's head back to the Roundtable Hold and see what this remembrance will get us. Hi, Anya. Weapon of Romina, Saint of the Bud, a scarlet glaive with a dangling bud-like blade. Attacks cause buildup of rot. Once, in the crumbling, burning church, Romina held the bud in speechless silence. That bud would become her blade. Unique skill, Romina's Putrefaction. Imbues bud blade with scarlet wrought butterflies before unleashing 2 large sweeping slashes. This one was considered a sacred act of purification. Rotten Butterflies, incantation used by Romina, Saint of the Bud. Summons a myriad of butterflies while performing a gentle twirl. The butterflies break apart on contact, scattering rot and setting off a chain reaction. The scarlet butterflies are, as the goddess of rot's wings, bereft of a master. They were soothed by Romina, who reached out to them. So she claimed the butterflies after Melania died? That's what I'm interpreting from that, but not 100% sure. Okay, let's head back to the Church of the Bud. Alrighty, let's see. What's going on here? Remember we had that note from Dryleaf Dane, aka Foghorn Leghorn, who reminded us that we needed Mesmer's kindling in order to get rid of the sealing tree. The kindling that burned inside Mesmer the Impaler, a dark thing eaten away at by a wicked serpent, burns the sealing tree said to be found at the old Rau ruins. Mesmer, much like his younger sister, bore a vision of fire. Once again, we have a new perspective on this sort of inkblot area. I'm just fascinated by this. And I have no idea what it's going to look like when we actually go there, but certainly I can't imagine it'll live up to whatever image I have of it in my mind, because it's just so curious and strange and intriguing, but yeah, no idea what it's actually going to look like in practice. Okay, enough stalling, Aegon, let's do this. Let's burn the sealing tree so that we can get in there, I suppose. Even though we still have this whole region of the map we've not seen yet, but yeah. So we have some monk statues here. There's 3 of them, which is interesting. And these... are these supposed to be buds? I suppose that would make sense for the Church of the Bud. But yeah, let's examine the sealing tree. Whoa. Oh, so it was like cloaked? Whoa. Okay, never mind. Yes, indeed. So it's not anything like I imagined it was going to be. Because I was just thinking, how the heck are we going to go to this place that is like ethereal and doesn't exist? That answers that question. That is so cool. Wow, okay. Well played, FromSoft. Sorry, I had to get a screenshot there. And another one here. Oh, we're being warped there now. Okie dokie. Wow, look at this. We cannot warp anywhere. We must proceed. Enir-Ilim.
Enir-Ilim, outer wall. Okay, that's funny. They want you to light the bonfire before you warp anywhere so that you don't lose your spot. You know what? I'm curious whether, you know, if you were to just jump off the cliff there, what would happen? I imagine you'd probably just respawn there. However, let's see what the ceiling tree looks like now. And it looks like it's just gone. But I wonder, can you warp there now? Wow, cool. It's just a pile of ashes now. Okie dokie. Well, let's warp back. Whoops. This is presumably a shortcut exit. Or just nothing at all. Beautiful music. They stopped. Oh, now here they come. Hi, bird friend. Horned Warrior's Sword. Curved sword of the Horned Warriors, keepers of the tower. The ornamental tangled horns allow the blade to serve as a medium for horn calling. Unique skill Horn Calling invokes tangled horns to cover the weapon's blade. Drive the weapon into the ground, calling up a cluster of piercing horns. So we don't have the faith required to use it. Okay. That's a feature I wasn't expecting to see. Wow, okay. See more of these braided curtains that we saw in the boss room for the Divine Dancing Lion. But presumably this place was once a part of the Bellarat settlement, or the Belton, or rather the other way around. And so we were in the Theater of the Divine Beast, and so presumably that's why we're seeing similar stuff here, because they were once one and the same. There's a sort of altar here. I suspect someone like Sophie Pilbeam would probably be able to say a lot more about what this is, but it looks to me like an altar for worshipping what I believe is called a kami, or perhaps more straightforwardly meant to sort of be a memory of someone, because they're carrying what is presumably a dead body, sort of like in the Western tradition with pallbearers, 6 people carrying a casket. But in this case, it's a person shrouded in a thing. But there's also this like table thing here with the curtains and the 2 goats. And they're on like a boat. So there's a lot going on here. And then there's these incense burners and candles here as well. So yeah, wow. A whole lot going on. And in keeping with the whole theme of tangled horns.
this thing, and it's got a little miniature staircase here. Spiral staircase. This one goes nowhere. Reflecting the fact that obviously this place is not as it once was. It does not appear to be floating, but it might as well be. It appears to be sand down there, so, like, perhaps the foundations were very deep in the earth, and then after whatever happened to cause all this, it lifted itself out of the earth. Okay, yeah, again, a lot going on here, but it's just my initial sort of observations, I guess. Wow. So I take back what I said. I said, you know, it couldn't possibly live up to the image I have in my mind. I think this is actually far better than the image I had in my mind of what it was going to look like. Some folks here just sort of hanging out, I guess. Oh, wow. See the markings of a site of grace. You can hear it as well. There it is. First rise. Really just wonderful music here. So there are a few different paths we can take. There's another braided tree. And more of these same altars. There's more fire grease. Okay, there's a door ahead. So I guess this is the path we're taking. Oh. Okay, so we really did burn it away, didn't we? That's so cool. Okay. Fascinating. Okay, so this is the tower then. Because, you know, all this talk of the people at the tower, and I thought that was in reference to... Where the heck even is it? I guess we don't have it on our map yet. It's in that region that we've not yet discovered, quote unquote. That's interesting. Okay. Enir-Ilim. So before we go up, let's go this way. Wow. So again, we're following in Miquella's footsteps. Or, you know, I guess at this point, if he doesn't have a body anymore, then I don't know what, you know, he wouldn't presumably be walking. He wouldn't be making footsteps. He would just be sort of gliding above the ground. Because he did abandon the last of the flesh of his body. Well played, friend. So we saw these friends in the ruins. Sort of praying, staring at this place from a distance. worshipping this tree here. So there's a very large one here. What in the world? It's almost reminiscent of the Godskin Apostles. You can hear whispers. That's frightening. I think it must be this friend. Oh. I was thinking maybe that was an opportunity to get a look at them, but... Alright, well, I suppose there's one way we can deal with them. So who's watering all these plants? I only ask this question half facetiously. Oh. I did expect there to be a bunch of friends down here. I was not expecting the flymen. Fly people, whatever. Feared Spirit Ash. This tree does not look like it's in great shape. Oh, and you can even see they're actually people, so it's very similar to what we saw in the base game, the whole returning to roots motif, that in all those dungeons you would see the people literally returning to roots, attaching themselves to the roots of those massive great tree roots underground. So more sort of horns. See here the horns. Very different sort of themes in this area, visual aesthetic themes, than we've been seeing for the last, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 episodes. So everything we've seen has had that sort of like mesmer, snakes, and flames motif to it. Oh, you scared me, friend. But yeah, you probably shouldn't scream when you're trying to ambush someone. Just do it. You did yourself no favors there. Why is it always dung? Yeah, always dung. Oh, big friend's still kicking. Ouch. Revered Spirit Ash, very nice. And power up our shield friends. Sorry for disturbing your worship friend. Yeah, more of these braided curtains. All these friends are praying. We should try not to disturb them if we can avoid it. The issue is I don't know that it can be avoided. But let's try all the same. We are covered in blood, somewhat appropriately. Despite my attempts to save 1 or 2 lives wherever I can, ultimately it makes no difference. So this is like a... what do they call them? Those sand things for keeping time, gosh darn it. But yeah, the implication here I think is that we're running out of time. I really don't know where it's coming from though. Visions of sleep. All right. In other words, summon someone. Oh. Okay, that was weird. Let's try that again. Ooh, map. Spira. Superior sorcery of the Tower Priest wielded as an incantation of the spiral. Wrap one's arms together and hold them to the heavens to summon a spiral of light that erupts at the enemy's feet. Column of light persists for as long as the button is pressed. The spiral is a normalized crucible current that one day will form a column that stretches to the gods. For some reason I thought that was a map. Alright. Is it back down here now? Or is this a new place? No, it's not. Oh, that's new. Oh. You're scary. Whoa. That's cool. The implication being that this friend is controlling the weather, which is, yeah, frightening, but also cool. Well played. Indeed, it's not raining anymore. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. Especially because I didn't die at the end. Dragon Bolt grease. Ouch. Okay, friends, I'm coming for you. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, that's getting very annoying. Okay. So over here we can get a better look at these people just sort of hanging on for... Oh! They look a lot like the friends we saw, or do they? What was that place called? Yeah, they look a lot like the friends we saw in the Shifra Aqueduct. The statues. In particular, this friend here and this one. And maybe it's just the lack of detail in their faces. It's making me think that, but... We only have one flask left. This is... Ah, okay. Never mind. That's fine. So, he's already abandoned all of his flesh, Mikola that is, so I wonder what this could be. Spiral Rise. I abandon here all my fears. Okay, so he no longer has fear. So first of all, he no longer has a physical body. He's an incorporeal life form. Second of all, he no longer has the capacity to love. And now, he no longer has the capacity to fear things. So, you know, I think every being that we've come across in this playthrough has faced off against a hamster butterfly alien and thought, okay, I didn't think I was afraid of anything, but I am afraid of that, whatever that is. But apparently Mikola will not have that capacity. Scadutree fragment. Okay, so in the previous episode I suggested that, you know, seeing as we're finding Scadutree fragments wherever we find these crosses, that implies that the Scadutree fragments are in some way linked to Mikola's biology. And that may not be true. You know what? I'm just remembering where the previous site of grace was. We went in one direction, but I think we may have missed something. Or did we? I don't know. That was yesterday. Full disclosure. So, I don't remember. But yeah, but in any case, you know, of course, here they're just abandoning, Mikola just abandoned their fears. Their ability to fear. So, and we find a Scadutree fragment, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And even in the crosses where we do, and I know I'm arguing with myself here, but even in the crosses where we do find his flesh, you know, whatever he's abandoning gives rise to these crosses, presumably. So, the presence of the Scadutree fragments seems almost incidental, but there has to be some way to explain that, I think. Yeah, in any event. So, who was targeting us when we were on the stairs? Because all those friends are dead. But, yeah. Okay, before we proceed, let's go back to the previous site of grace and see if we can figure out if I actually am missing anything. Okay, so that goes to the entrance, which is to say the Bellarat settlement. This is where we came from, which was basically the side of the cliff. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay. Forgot about that, friend. Okay, and he's forgotten about us now. And that is the start of the area, presumably. So where does this go? Okay, just here. Oh, okay, that's weird. Okay, not sure what happened there because I'm still connected to the internet, so that was strange. So yeah, that's where we entered the area. That's where we ended up going. It does look like we can jump on this roof over here, but not clear on if there's any benefit to doing so. Time for fort. Let there be. Oh, it's fortnight. And this is where we ended up going anyway. Okay, so literally just a somber smithing stone. Good to know. You know, I'm surprised with myself that I had the presence of mind to remember that I actually missed a path. And that was... Jeez, these things keep scaring me. And that was a day ago. Okay, that's some weird iconography there. The curtain is coming out of the mouth of this friend. It's, yeah, quite curious. Oh, this is the person who was messing with us, of course. That makes sense. I hope they didn't actually drop an item, did they? No, it doesn't look that way. Oh. No, gosh darn you. Death birds. And here we can get a much closer look at these friends. Thanks for the rating, friends. And no, they don't look to be akin to those things we find in the Shifra Aqueduct. They look more like just normal humans with a very low quality texture, which in the game world you could argue is something like they're just weathered looking, withering away, so to speak. Okay, that was the path forward. You can hear that deathbird friend running around. Correct. Oh, that's a new one. Very cool attack. Get wrecked though. Gosh darn it, what do you call those things? Hourglass. My goodness, it is like the most basic word. The most basic name for a thing. Like, it was so prevalent when I was a kid, the notion of an hourglass. That, you know, any board game that would require you to keep time would come with one of those. So, yeah, you'd think I would know what it was called, but yeah, my bad. I was like, yeah, you know, the whole Sands of Time thing. And I don't mean Prince of Persia. This friend is not very perceptive. Revered Spirit Ash. So this whole area then is one giant hourglass, it seems. But it's malfunctioning. The sand is just spilling out everywhere. So time is running out, but it can't be reset. Is that the, like, this is basically an hourglass here. Like, it has the same, perhaps not entirely the same, because an hourglass would be symmetrical, of course. But it has the same basic shape. The same thing with these things here. Though again, if you turned it upside down, it wouldn't function exactly the same. So it's not a perfect analogy, but yeah, very interesting stuff, I think. Oh my goodness, look at the Erdtree from here. Wow. Stunning. You can still see the roots in the sky very prominently. But we're obviously getting quite high up. So everything we're seeing through the clouds in a way. Oh, who are you? Another one of these very scary looking friends who control the weather. Okay. So they obviously went to the same... Oh. I totally meant to do that. I'm just gonna stand right here. Don't you worry. I got this. Tower's in safe hands. Friend, I can't imagine this is what you intended. Well, I will certainly take it. So they clearly went to the same school as the Divine Dancing Lion friends. As in, you know, they have very similar mask, they both control the weather. In terms of both frost and lightning and rain. But yeah, the Divine Dancing Lion is perhaps a bit smarter. Okay. I cannot believe where he fell. That's so bad, friend. What were you thinking? He was so excited that his weather trick worked. He didn't think through the consequences. There he goes. Incredible. Yeah, this one's gonna be Scadutree fragment, I presume. Yeah. So yeah, this whole place is a one-time use hourglass. So, the question is, do we go up or down? So this is where we entered, I think? Or is it? It might be someplace else. I assume this is too high to jump. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I do think that's just where the Site of Grace is. Okay, we were down there. Okay, we can jump to this balcony here, actually. Golden Horn Tender, and there's a ladder to go up. So is this where that friend walked out? No. Oh, and we can go down, okay. So let's go up first and then down, perhaps. Danger ahead. Oh, that was stupid. Gosh darn it. You know, I totally deserve that. I made fun of that other friend for just walking off the ledge, and I literally just did the exact same thing. Oh my goodness, that was ridiculous. Alright. Let's get back to it. Okay. So this... No. Yeah, there's that same friend again. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, is that supposed to be a scripted event? At least this time he's in a bit more of an advantageous position, whereas last time he had nowhere to go. Okay, he's backed himself into a corner anyway. Okay, I'm satisfied. That will hopefully be enough of an HP drain. There's our runes up there. So, to hop onto this balcony again. And then climb up. Oh, he's right down there, okay. Well, let's go get our runes first and then we'll climb down. Still can't believe I died there. That was so silly. It says time for range battle, but against whom? I don't see anyone to fight here. I do see a bunch of bloodstains, though. My friend's still got a little bit of HP left. Oh, not your brightest moment, friend. I'm sorry. Alright, Horned Warrior Ashes. Neutralizing boluses, please. Oh, stanching boluses. A 2-for-1 bolus day. Horned Warrior Ashes. Ashen remains in which spirits yet dwell. Used to summon the spirit of a Horned Warrior. This heavily armored guardian spirit of the tower attained inhuman strength through divine invocation, and wields a curved greatsword that brings horns to bear on its foes. In the tower, these warriors and their weapons both are spiritual vessels. Okay, that's interesting. So is this whole place like a mausoleum of sorts? There's a lot of incense, there's a lot of these like altars set up. Some scrolls here. With goodness knows what scrawled on them. Some horned priest here, another braided tree, more scrolls, more incense. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, let's go back up. Oh. This is literally where we just were. Okay, never mind. Ignore everything I just said. So that's where we would have come from. And this is where we're going. And this is where the stairs got cut off. That is an age-old FromSoft tradition of having stairs that get cut off like that. Oh, Gravebird Helm. Stone helm with a tinge of green, one of a set of armor pieces cast in the image of the Gravebird. Empowers spells which summon rings of spectral light. Gravebirds are ancient golems, created to guard the spirit graves, built where all manners of death ultimately drift. We also picked up some golden bolts earlier, which are said to be bolts blessed with an incantation of the Erdtree that deal powerful damage and were once used by guards of the capital. Okay, now from here, I assume we jump straight down and then call up that elevator. Indeed. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to see. I hate these friends. L2 and L1 spam. Thank goodness. There is a legendary item shiny. Right here. Oh. Somber ancient dragon smithing stone, so a nice little titanite slab. Why is it always on the brink? So to speak, let there be tranquility. Good one. Okie dokes. Trying to... oh gosh darn it. Been thinking about cool thumbnail possibilities. But then you get... Oops. That's not what I meant to do. You get in a situation like this where you find a perfect one. And then you realize, gosh darn it, these things are coded to be transparent when you're up close to them. So you can't get the shot you were hoping. Although I suppose that's kind of cool looking, but you can still see some of them are transparent. So it ruins the illusion that, you know, I'm some photographer. Oh, his friend came up on the elevator. I'm sorry. I just Mr. Magoo'd my way around that trap. Did this friend really just not see me there? Oh, yeah, they see me. Okay, before we go ahead, I assume this is where we just dropped down. We just climbed in here, I should say. Yeah, I feel like there might be one or two things that I missed, but yeah. Let's proceed. Yeah, I figured as much. I was about to say this does not look promising. And it's just one of those friends. That's actually not too bad. Okay, that's nonsense. Yeah, these friends are strong, but perhaps not exceptionally bright. So, yeah, I'll certainly take it. Also not extremely aggressive either. I'm just content to be just pelted with arrows from a distance, okay? It works for me. I'm certainly not going to complain. Ouch. Ouch. That's not nice. I'm sorry, but yeah. I'm a coward. What can I say? Oh, that's quite the attack you have there. Yeah, I'll take it. Horned Warrior. Greatsword. Horned Warrior's Greatsword, I should say. Curved Greatsword of the Horned Warriors, Keepers of the Tower. A heavy weapon made to bring the deft strength of the warriors to bear. The ornamental tangled horns allow the blade to serve as a medium for horn calling. Unique skill, Horn Calling, Storm, invokes tangled horns to cover the weapon's blade. Call the storm into the horns, then mow through enemies. Additional inputs allow for up to 2 follow-up attacks. Okie dokes. So more of these lion motifs, statues, which feed into the lion motif, you might say. Okay. That's a cool image for a thumbnail, potentially. This area is just so interesting from a thematic perspective. There's a lot going on. But yeah, I find it fascinating. Okay. Let's have a rest. Cleansing chamber anteroom. Okay, so the cleansing chamber is ahead, in other words. Scadutree fragment. So whatever boss we have to face up ahead, I'm like 100% certain we're going to need to burn a Scadutree fragment, so let's just do it now. Because we're a couple levels ahead, I think. We are currently at level 12. And we have how many in reserve? Quite a few. 11. Okay, so yeah, we'll just burn one set, whatever that is. So the next one would be what? 3 again, okay. So we'll leave it for now. And we're at 235. We need 317 to level up, actually. Let me see whether we can do that or not. Yeah, we're still getting more out of dexterity than we would out of arcane for our weapons, so continue leveling dex. And we now only have 325 runes, so if there's a boss fight up ahead, it's no big deal. We don't need to worry about gathering our runes every time, we just deal with the boss fight. And that is definitely a boss fight. Oh no! It's Leda. Well, I suppose it...
I thought I'd see you here. It'd been quite some time. It was never kindly Metyr, was it? The Erdtree was leading you all along, so that you might ascend to lordship. Why come to these lands to begin with? I suppose it must be what His Eminence, or perhaps the Erdtree desired all along. The clashing of the favored lords, such that one would prevail. So be it. If you insist upon facing Metyr the Kind, then I will run you through whoever you might be. Don't tarry now.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Again, reminiscent of some of the imagery from Demon Souls in the Nexus. The monks that have been sort of petrified. So yeah, there's some sort of fight that happens in here, clearly. But right now, no. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. What happens if we just proceed and ignore her? Oh. Okay. That's interesting. So it's the illusion of choice. You think you can just proceed, but no, you actually have to fight them. Alrighty then.
Don't you dare approach Metyr the Kind. Needle Knight Leda, Dryleaf Dane, and our allies will never allow this.
I am the Red Mane, Rhia. The time has come. I could not hope for a worthier
Ouch.
foe. This is our moment.
Ouch.
Let's make it something to remember.
Okay, not off to a good start here. Hornsent,
The woman said it would be.
I was on your side, friend.
Lord of Marika, you too deserve to face the reckoning.
Hornsent, I was on your side.
That you might be the Erdtree's rightful lord. Such as it is, this battle could not be more fitting.
Oh,
For the
this is
birth
not
of
going
a
well.
new god and the coming of a lord. You were fine. In your body. Truly a glorious battle. It was.
Oh, Mikela.
Okay. Oh no, more. This is the merchant friend? Oh.
You and I fighting. And tragedy this is.
I know. I love you more. You were so cool. Oh no. Oh my gosh, yeah. We're not going to be able to do this without any sort of summons. This is too much. My goodness. Ouch. Ouch. That one hurt. Okay. Let's go back to the Site of Grace. We have a couple of changes we need to make here. One is I think we need to start burning some of those. You know, again, I know I said that I wouldn't be summoning for boss fights, but I didn't anticipate a gang fest like this one. That's just absurd. So let's burn some Spirit Ash Blessing to the extent that we can. Okay, just one, that's fine. And then we'll summon. I guess we'll summon. Black Knife Tish, and who else do we have? Upgraded. Other than the Mimic Tier Ashes, Black Knife Tish. There was one other person other than Latena, I thought. Or maybe I just thought about upgrading them and never actually did. The jars, of course. Of course, Aurelia. So, yeah. Okay, so I guess Black Knife Tish it is. She actually should be quite good for this. And yeah, we should maybe step up our damage negation as well. And our stamina. Or do we want to... Yeah, you know, I think we might want to try this one. Actually, not a bad idea. Okay, let's give it a shot. So I wonder if there was any way we could have avoided this whole thing. Somehow I doubt it, but still, it's...
Don't you dare approach Mikula the Kind. Needle Knight Leda, Dryleaf Dane, and our allies will never allow this.
I am the Red Mane, Rhia. The time has come. I could not hope for a worthier foe. This is our moment. Let's make it something to remember.
Ouch. Oh, that was a dumb heal. Not sure if they're on a timer or what.
It is just as the woman said it would be. Lord of the Erdtree, Lord of Marika, you too deserve to face the reckoning.
Oh no! We don't have enough FP. Gosh darn it, that was silly of me.
I never could have imagined it.
I overused my
You
L2.
might be the Erdtree's rightful lord.
Oh, I'm dead. gosh darn it.
Such as it is, this battle could not be more fitting for the birth of a new god and the coming of a lord.
Don't you dare approach Miquella the Kind. Needle Knight Leda, Dryleaf Dane, and our allies will never allow this.
I am the Red Mane, Rhia. The time has come. I could not hope for a worthier foe. This is our moment. Let's make it something to remember.
Not off to a good start.
I never could have imagined it. That
Ouch.
you might be the Erdtree's rightful lord.
You never could have imagined that?
Such as it is, this battle could not be more fitting.
What are you trying to suggest,
for the
friend?
birth of a new god and the coming of a lord.
I love that they're just ignoring Tish, although...
Tis just as the woman said it would be.
Oh gosh, this is not going well.
Erdtree, Lord of Marika, you too deserve to face the reckoning. Oh, Miquella,
Get wrecked, friend.
redeem our clan.
Oh, darn it. Okay, not off to a good start. That was close. Ouch. Oh, gosh darn it. Well played, friend. Okay, we're dead. This is just a massive gang fest, this. My goodness. Oh my goodness. So it seems like it's like a Royal Rumble type situation.
Don't you dare approach Miquella the Kind. Needle Knight Leda, Dryleaf Dane, and our allies will never allow this.
Where you are
I am the Red Mane, Rhia.
fighting
The time
people
has
on a
come.
timer.
I could not hope for a worthier foe. This is our moment.
So there's no use in trying to give them time or be fair or whatever, because as soon as you start trying to be fair, someone else is going to get summoned and then you're going to be outnumbered. So might as well play the game the way that they're playing it.
It's just as the woman said it would be. Lord of the Erdtree, Lord of Marika.
Oh no, gosh darn it.
Face the reckoning. Your lord is slain, and you are next, Marika.
Oh. Oh, we can summon Ansbach. Okay. Yes, we're gonna do that. Absolutely. Because this has not been a fair fight thus far.
Don't you dare approach Miquella the Kind.
I'll approach Miquella the Kind if I want.
Dryleaf Dane and our allies will never allow this.
I'm sure you won't, but
I am the Red Mane, Rhia. The time has come. I could not hope for a worthier foe. This is our moment. Let's make it something to remember. I offer this
yes, nicely done.
To Miquella the Kind and Rhia.
I am Ansbach,
stand with blade aloft, blood of fire, for the dignity of my lord and
Yes!
Oh, Miquella.
I never thought I'd be on Mohg's side. You know, I did offer a pretty sympathetic reading of Mohg in my video essay.
It appears that our interests have aligned. A balm upon my soul it is that we do not meet today as enemies. Now, my blade. Watch closely.
You and I, fighting. A tragedy this is.
I'm sorry for speaking to you as a compatriot when you stood before the withered army.
This is such a mess.
Lady Leda, your suspicions were dead on. In the end, I could not bury the memories of Lord Mohg and our pact of blood.
I can't fathom your convictions. After knowing kindly Miquella, what remains to pledge to your lord and lord?
Miquella. In God shall you rise. Miquella the Kind will help us stand forever.
How readily the sensation returns. The runaway spirit of war.
By way of apology, kindly Miquella, make the world a gentler place.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that, friend. I'm sorry. Hey, thanks, Regret. Long time no see. And Onspock. Much appreciated. Okay, we really threw everything we possibly could at that. Yeah. I didn't see any other way to do it because, yeah, that was a lot to deal with. Rip, friends, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, Moor's everything. Verdigris Great Shield, Verdigris Helm, Armor, Gauntlets, Greaves. Rip Freya. Freya's Greatsword, Helm, Armor, Gauntlets, Greaves. Rip Hornsent, friend, I was on your side, friend. Falx, Caterpillar Mask, Braided Cord Robe, Braided Arm Wraps, Soiled Loincloth. Rip Dry Leaf Dane. Dane's footwork. The sealing tree is just ahead. Okay, so Freya's... Verdigris Great Shield. Great Shield made of the unusual metal known as Verdigris. Verdigris, yes. Boasts greater guard capacity than damage negation, to the extent that the shield will continue to protect its targets, even if its bearer should die. Unique skill, Moor's Charge. Ready the shield with both hands, then charge forth while maintaining guard, ending in a shove imbued with Verdigris magic. Knocks back nearby enemies, but does not cause significant harm. Hold to extend the length of the charge. Light Greatsword with gold inlaid. Weapon of Leda, the Needle Knight. Deals holy damage. Though polished to a mirror sheen, this blade still reeks with the stench of crusted blood that lingers from the hull of her knightly comrades. Unique skill, Needle Piercer. Skill of Needle Knight Leda. Generates 10 gold needles which pierce their target all at once. Those pierced are purged of all ailments and special effects alike. Moor's Bellbearing. It doesn't tell you anything really. Verdigris Helm. Helm made from an unusual metal known as Verdigris. Verdigris is said to be the gift of an outer god, possessed of an enormously hefty yet supple strength, thanks to its rusted nature. Freya's Greatsword. Weapon of Freya, a red mane. Greatsword decorated with a mane, much like the weapons used by her liege.
The spirit of Freya's training lingers in this sword, enhancing the power of Redmane battle skills. So her liege being a reference to Radahn, of course. Golden helm of Redmane Freya, member of General Radahnn's most distinguished knights. A hideous scarlet wound was once hewn into the center of her face. Later, Miquella gently put his lips to it, and the unfading scar became the compass that Freya would thereafter follow. Okay, so her helm maintains that scar, it would seem. Or the wound, I should say, because you can see it just above her nose and starting in the sort of corner of her right eye. Golden armor of Redmane Freya, member of General Radahnn's most distinguished knights, affixed with a black woolen mantle. After witnessing Freya's valor as a gladiator in his youth, Radahn invited her to join the ranks of his most trusted warriors. Falx, curved swords with long, sickle-like blades, a pair of weapons made to be wielded in both hands, forged by a hornsent in the name of revenge. In my vengeance for the flames, my blade I wield. Unique skill, Revenger's Blade. Dash up to an enemy and slash them open with the blades held in each hand. By holding down the button, the initial dash will be extended. Follow up with strong attack to hack the enemy to pieces. Oh yes, friends, this is what we've been waiting for. A two-handed bleed weapon. Fantastic. Okay. Or two-handed, double-wielded blade weapon. I'm not sure how to describe it. A weapon that is just a single weapon, but meant to be used in both hands. One weapon in each hand. So, yeah. Cool. Caterpillar Mask. Grotesque mask constructed from countless solidified caterpillars. A ritual implement of the greater potentates of Bonny Village. Used to ward off thoughts of impurity, doubt, temptation, and other wickedness one is vulnerable to while absorbed in divine ritual. Braided cord robe, ragged black cloth overlaid with braided cord, attire of a vengeance-seeking hornsent. The braided cord ties together the vow of the revenger with the victim's grudges. It must never come undone. Enhances both watchful spirits and the vengeful spirits summoned by horned bairns. So the braided cord ties together the vow of the revenger with the victim's grudges. So I wonder, is that meant to be a similar theme or similar sort of logic underlying the other braiding that we've seen, such as the curtains being braided together and, you know, the Scadutree being braided together? Okay. Soiled loincloth. This lightly soiled loincloth of ragged clothes does little more than conceal one's nether regions. Okay. Dane's footwork, a technique for hand-to-hand combat without the aid of a weapon. This martial art focuses on kicking techniques. This kick-based martial art is unique to Dane, a dryleaf and sworn ally of Leda. He acquired these skills by training with the aid of a waterfall, letting the water beat his body and throwing himself into its basin. Skill, Palm Blast, skill of the spiritual seekers known as the Dryleaf Sect. Imbues hand with energy before using a palm strike to unleash an explosive blast. The already formidable power and impact can be bolstered by charging the attack. Okay, I'm very tempted to go forward. However, this episode has been going for quite a long time, so I think we're going to call it there and then pick up where we left off in the next episode. So thank you all very, very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.